Hi there, this is Sam of Core Yoga, and for today's core fix we're going to be focusing on building some strength and control in the upper body. We're working shoulders, back of shoulders, arms, and we're really working at creating a sense of strength in the upper body to allow us to draw the attention through the core. So when we're running, we're not just focusing on the lower limbs, we're not just taking load in the lower limbs, but we're allowing that load to distribute throughout the body. By incorporating arms and shoulders into our running gait, it helps us control better what's going on down the limbs so that we can support a nice, fluid and efficient movement pattern. So come to all fours to begin. We're going to start with our hands underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our chest, and press the floor away from you so that your arms are straight. Tops of the feet pressing flat on the floor. Unless that's giving you cramp, just turn over and tuck over those toes. And then just a few rounds of cat-cow to mobilize to begin with. Inhale, drop the belly towards the floor, open through the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. Then exhale, push the floor away from you, tuck the chin, press the shins and the hands down into the floor. So a few more like that, moving slower the better. Inhaling as you come into your cow, and then exhaling as you push into your cat. So we're starting really slowly. Your breath is deep, your breath is long, but your breath is balanced. Last time this pace, you exhale to push the floor away from you. And then a little bit quicker. Inhale, drop the belly, open through the chest. Exhale, push the floor away from you, tuck your chin. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together here. And then exhale, draw the navel to the spine here. Couple more like this, inhaling, traveling through. It doesn't matter, exhale how far you go. And then inhale to what feels right and what feels like a nice neutral spine. So a relatively flat shape to your back. And then from here, a few thread the needles. Inhale, press the left hand into the floor and reach the right hand to the sky. And then as you exhale, feed the right hand underneath you, bend the left elbow, bring the right shoulder to the floor. Remember, we're moving slowly to begin. Inhale, we slowly lift up, feeling that rotation at the waist. And then exhale, we really reach that hand away, getting a nice stretch to the back of the shoulders. One more super slow. This is on your inhalation breath. And then exhale, this is obviously exhalation breath. Then a little bit quicker. Inhale, reach your right hand to the sky. Exhale, feed the right hand underneath. Inhale, push the floor away from you with the limbs in contact. And then exhale, hug the navel to the spine. One more inhale, reach up. And then exhale to feed. Nice. Inhale, come back to the center. Just take a downward facing dog as you exhale. So keeping your hands and your feet the same distance apart as they were in all fours. Bending the knees as much as you need to push the floor away from you with your hands and your feet. And then as you inhale, travel forward a little way, as though you're going to plank, but don't go that far. And then when you get here, press the floor away from you. Separate your shoulder blades and feel that separation. Feel now the muscles in the shoulders. And then keep that, sneak the hips back to downward facing dog. And then inhale, drop the knees back to the floor. Exhale to flat back. Slowly. Inhale, left hand lifts up to the sky. Notice the difference compared to the right. And then exhale, feed that left hand underneath, the right elbow bends and the left shoulder to the floor. So you inhale, you push the three limbs that are in contact with the floor down. And then as you exhale, you slowly feed that left arm underneath you. One more super slow. Inhale, being mindful, see what you feel in your body. And then exhale as you twist. Maybe now you're going a little bit further. Then a few a little quicker. Inhale, but with no way are we rushing this? And exhale to feed it through. Inhale, reach the hand to the sky. And then exhale as you twist. Inhale, 2 more like this. Exhale to twist. Inhale, last one. And exhale. Inhale, bring the left hand back to the floor. And then exhale, just stabilize on all fours. Tuck under the toes, press into the feet, downward facing dog. So your hands and your feet are in exactly the same position as your hands and your feet are when you're on all fours. And then inhale, just draw the shoulders a little forward towards the hands. Exhale, push the floor away from you. Feel those shoulder blades separate. We're going to do a little bit more work on shoulders in a minute. So you're not creating what looks like the most beautiful downward facing dog, but you're creating a sense of activation through the shoulders. Now as you sneak back into your downward facing dog, this upper body is working as much as your lower body. And then inhale, come back to all fours. Exhale, hold it here. So some shoulder shrugs. I'm going to do it here, and then I'm going to show you with my shoulders to the camera. First of all, you're going to inhale and simply drop the front of your chest towards the floor whilst your arms stay exactly where they were or are. And then that feels pretty horrible in the back of your shoulders, to be honest. And then exhale, simply push the floor away from you and separate those shoulder blades. So it looks a little bit like that angry cat, just less deep. So you inhale, you drop your chest towards the floor, you squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then you exhale, you push the floor away from you and you separate those shoulder blades. We're creating some movement and mobility around the scapula, around the shoulder blades. So when we start to ask those muscles in those spaces to react when we run, they're all fired up. So from here, I'm going to reach my hands forward and pretend I'm doing a similar thing. You keep going where you are, but if you need some more guidance, look at me. As you inhale, the shoulder blades pull towards one another and the chest pushes down towards the floor. And as you exhale, you push the floor away from you and you separate those shoulder blades. Inhale, you got 2 more like this. And then exhale, push the floor away from you. Inhale, come back to all fours. And exhale, hold it here. So from here, you're going to feel that same separation of shoulder blades as you just had. And then tops of the feet on the floor. Now, I'm not saying that we run like this. No, we're just working the muscles. But when we do plank, when we do any strength work on our hands, this is where our shoulder blades want to be. Tops of the feet on the floor, and you're just going to lift your knees like a centimetre off the floor. We're just pulling into core here. We're starting to fire up front core muscles, inner thighs, pelvic floor starts to fire up. And then exhale, let it go. Just sit back, hips on your heels, take a breath. Nice. So a lot of time when we're a runner, we focus on the lower limbs, what's going on in the lower limbs. And I think nowadays we know that core is really important, that core is not just about abdominals, it's about the muscles that travel the circumference of the torso. But very often as a runner we can forget about shoulders. So bring your hands back to the floor underneath your shoulders, press the floor away from you, separate those shoulder blades. Tops of the feet back on the floor, raise the knees a centimetre in the same place we've just been. Feel those core muscles in the front of the body fire up. Squeeze the inner thighs, tuck under the back toe, push back in the right heel and get a nice stretch in that right calf muscle. Then keep those shoulders separated. They're working hard. Bring the right knee back. Don't bring it to the floor. Tuck under the left toes, push it back. Squeeze your inner thighs, whole body's working. Mindful of what's going on in shoulders. Take one more breath. And then exhale, bring both knees back to the floor. Sit your hips back on your heels. Relax your shoulders. One more set like that. We're going to go into full plank when we get there. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Push the floor away from you. Feel the strength there. Tops of the feet on the floor, knees lift. And then from here, roll right and then left. Coming over into your plank. You're now in a perfect position to find your plank. Be mindful that the chest doesn't sink, the hips don't sink. Keep pushing the floor away from you. With that same momentum, push the heels back. Feel the lower belly drawing up. And then lift up your hips and just come into your downward facing dog. Just let everything go a little bit. Just bend the knees as much as you need to. From here, a couple of times we're going to come in and out of plank. So just finding that separated, retracted shoulder blade position. Come a little bit forward to plank, push the floor away from you. And then travel back, keep that separation of shoulder blades to your down dog. Now in and out of plank, inhale, travel forwards, come into your plank. And then exhale, push the floor away from you. Downward facing dog, nice. Inhale, push the floor away, keep pushing. Exhale, feel that strength in the shoulders. Down dog. One more like this. This is mobilizing hips nicely, getting nicely prepared for the next part of the set. Good. From here, as you exhale, bring your knees down to the floor. And then inhale, bring your elbows down to the floor. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders. They're not swinging wide. And your hands are directly in front of in front of elbows, or a little bit in towards one another. Press the whole forearm now down into the floor and lift the hips back up. Release the head, soften the knees, feel that sense of the whole forearm in contact with the floor, especially the back of the wrist. Push that away from you, separate those shoulder blades, feel that in the shoulders. And then walk the feet a tiny bit further back. And then inhale, travel the shoulders forward, chin comes towards thumbs. Exhale, push the floor away from you. Down dog, soften the knees if you need to, sorry. Inhale, travel the shoulders forward. And exhale, come into your variation of down dog. It's actually called dolphin. One more inhale, come forward, feel shoulders. Exhale, lift the hips. Inhale, bring the knees to the floor. Exhale, hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck under the toes, lift up your hips, walk your feet towards your hands. You're coming to the top of the mat, the feet are hip distance apart, bring your hands to your hips. With a flat back as you inhale, come all the way up to standing. When you arrive at standing, just give your body a little bit of a shake. So now we're going to start to move the legs because, of course, to get ready to run, we still want to fire up the muscles of the hips. So we're going to get into hips using a series of lunges, but we're going to really bring attention to shoulders. So right now, reverse lunge with runner's arms. We're going to do the first set without load and then the second set with an optional load. So when my right leg goes back, my left elbow goes back and my right arm goes forward. And then I come back and I switch my arms. Keep your elbows bent at 90 degrees. As you drive your elbow back, feel that sense of activation in the back of the shoulder. Good. So we're going to do one more like this and we're going to add a knee lift of that right leg. We're just doing right side for the moment. You inhale to step back. Exhale, now you're going to lift a knee. Inhale, feel the muscles in the back of the shoulders. Exhale, nice. 3 more like that. Inhale, exhale. Inhale with control. Exhale to lift. Inhale, left elbow drives back. Exhale, right elbow drives back. Bring the left foot, the right foot back to the floor. Shake it all out. Same thing. Other side, runner's arms. So this time, left leg's going to go back. That means left arm's going to go forward. And then here we're going to swap over. So you're inhaling, sorry, we shouldn't have taken that to a balance. And you're exhaling to come back to the center. 3 more like that. Feel the muscles in the back of the shoulders. So often here when we're doing these reverse lunges, I'm talking about lower limbs. Today, I want that focus to be on upper limbs. Now we have the balance. So we inhale to come back, we exhale to raise the knee. We're still working into those shoulders. Nice, we've got no load here, so we can really tune in to slowing down the rhythm, to feel the muscles. Nice. Good, so you're gonna do one more like this on this side, and then all the way up. Come to the side, you're gonna take lateral lunges, and as you do, you're gonna take a little upright row. That looks like this, feeling those muscles in the back of the shoulders, active, without squeezing the shoulder blades together, without collapsing through the chest. So, right leg goes out to the side, hands go towards the floor, then drive the elbows up towards the sky, elbows back to the floor, back to the center. Right leg out to the side, drive the elbows up, and then back to the center. Good. 3 more like this. Nice. As you drive the elbows up to the sky, you've got no weight currently. Doesn't mean that you can't really imagine that you're pushing and pulling against resistance. And that really in itself will help the muscles fire up. So you're pushing against resistance and pulling against resistance. Nice. Same thing, other side. So of course you're working the same arms because you only got 2, but you're working into a different leg. Nice. You're being controlled in your lunge. You're keeping your back nice and flat. You're allowing the pelvis to tilt forward here over the head of the femur bone. And you're really being attentive to the back of these shoulders. You've got 2 more like this. You're driving the elbows up. You're bringing the hands down. You're coming back to center. Last one. And all the way back. Coming into a crossover lunge now. So you're going to start with your legs squat distance apart. You're going to step your right leg behind the left as you take a bicep curl. And then you're going to come back to this position as we press the weights above the head. So let's start with these imaginary weights above the head. Remember, every movement you make, it's about finding this imaginary resistance. We're going to add load in the second set. So from here, reach the hands up above the head. Don't allow those ribs to flare up. Keep everything nicely tucked in. And then from here, cross over the right leg behind the left and take the hands to the shoulders and reach the the hands back to the sky. So right leg behind left, bicep curl to press. Good. Nice. 4. Good. And then our 5th one. Nice. Concentration on the shoulders. Other side. Good. Control the movement in the upper body. Good. One more. And release. Before we come to second set, a little bit of plank work. Come to the back end of your mat or the space that you have on the floor. Inhale, hinge the hips, soften the knees, hug the navel to the spine. Exhale, walk your hands out, find yourself in a plank position. And then feeling that sense of control in the plank, squeeze the right glute, lift the right foot. Bring the right foot down. Squeeze the left glute, lift the left foot. Bring the left foot down. Draw the right knee in towards your chest. Send it back. Draw the left knee in towards your chest. Send it back. Separate your feet slightly. Reach your right hand forward. Bring it back. Reach your left hand forward. Bring it back. Reach your right hand and your left foot. Bring it back. Reach your left hand and your right foot. Bring it back. Lift the hips. Walk the hands back to the feet. Press into the floor. Come up to stand. So now you might not have weights at home. If you don't, it doesn't matter. You can just take a couple water bottles filled with water, a couple of tins from your cupboard, and you'll be well set. I'm just going to use nice light weights because we don't want to be building bulk here. We want to be feeling the sensation of the muscles, maintaining that good posture. So take yourself to your runner's arms. This time you're going to start with the right knee lifted, the right elbow back, and the left elbow forward. You're going to step back into that reverse lunge as you drive the left elbow back. Come all the way back to the center. Good. And 2. Nice. We're doing 5 controlled. In your own time, if you want to add more sets, feel free. If you want to add more reps, feel free. I just got a 30-minute window to give you guys as much as I can in that period of time. Last one. Good. Swap sides. So left leg is lifted, right arm is forward, left arm is back. Swapping the arms with control. Noticing, like me, if one side is a little more challenging than the other. And don't forget to use those muscles in the core and the lower limbs. But we're really attentive to shoulders. Last one. Good. And release. Feet to the side. Right leg out to the side. Weights to the floor. Upright row. Back down. You can do as many of those as you like. Today we're just adding 1 to each lunge. This is number 3, squeeze and feel of the muscles in the back of the shoulders as you work in to lifting those weights. Last one. Nice. Same thing other side. Good. So I know that very often I talk about lower limbs when we work in running, in these running strength exercises. Lower limbs are super important, but here we're integrating the importance of upper body strength, and in fact we're tapping into upper body mobility also. Good. Keeping the muscles around the shoulder joint strong to facilitate movement and to help you arrive at a strong and stable running posture. Feet are squat distance apart. Start with the weights above the head. Be careful, don't allow those ribs to flare up. Keep everything tucked in. Right leg behind left, bicep curl, arms out wide, above your head. Good. Nice. So the weight should be so much that you feel it, but not so much that it's going to change the way that you move. These fundamental movement patterns are the most important part of this little session. Left leg behind right. Good. Nice.
And one more. Gorgeous. Pop the weights down. Second set of plank. So like me, you might find that your body is really warming up now. Maybe the heart rate is starting to elevate a bit, but not because you're working fast, but because you're working with control. Inhale, hinge the hips, soften the knees, suck the navel in. Exhale, walk your hands out, find a plank, feel that separated shoulder blades. Then squeeze the right glute, lift the right leg, not far, bring it back. Squeeze the left glute, lift the left leg, not far, bring it back. Bring your right knee towards your chest, send it away. Left knee, send it away. Take the feet a little wider, right arm forward, bring it back. Left arm forward, bring it back. Here we go. Right arm, left leg, bring it back. Left arm, right leg, bring it back. Lift the hips. Walk the hands back to the feet. Press into the floor. Come all the way up to stand. Nice. I hope you found benefit in that session, focusing on a specific part of the body. And when you go out for your run, feel how that has brought attention to this space. How maybe you can feel better, how those shoulders are working and holding your body nice and stable, and how it's connecting the lower limbs to the upper limbs through the center of the body, through the core. Enjoy your run. Thanks for tuning in. Namaste.